And today I'm going to go over step by step the home buying process. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or need a little refresher course if you haven't bought a home in a while, this is for you, so stay tuned. So the very first step that we could take is to simply start doing research online about the area that we want to move to. There's all different types of neighborhoods, of course, in any area, and we have a wealth of information on the internet without even calling a realtor. So that's a great way to start out. And then after you gather some research about an area, you may want to make a weekend trip and just do some drive-bys to check out homes for sale that's on your list. And then you're going to narrow it down and really figure out what is a good fit for you as far as what location you want to be in. So the next thing that we want to do is to find out what our price range is. We want to have a limit, and that's going to make our home shopping process much easier. And two, we want to have our pre-approval letter in place because we don't want to be without it when we make an offer, because there may be another buyer with a pre-approval letter that's going to beat us out. So you want to make sure you either have your proof of funds letter if you have cash, pre-approval letter if you're getting a loan, and do this before you do anything else. Okay, next we want to find a realtor. So there's tons of realtors out there that are dying for your business, believe me, but we want to find the right realtor for you that's going to represent you as a buyer's agent and is going to have your best interest. A lot of people will start calling listing agents on every property that they like, and this can be a huge mistake because all of a sudden you're getting calls and emails from 20 or 30 realtors, depending on how many houses that you email or call on. So it's much easier to start with a buyer's agent that's going to have your back and your best interest in mind, and they're going to be able to do lots of extra things for you. They're going to be able to preview homes. They're going to tell you about neighborhoods and areas and HOA fees and all the little details that you're wondering about. So choose an agent that's going to be a good fit for you and that you know will do a good job and work hard, and this is going to save you lots of time. Okay, so after you've gone through all of this, now comes the fun part that you've been waiting for, and that is shopping for homes. So now that you've talked with your realtor, you figured out what area you want to be in and your price range and all of that, you're going to start with a list of homes. So now it's time to make an offer, and I'm going to go over this step by step. And I just want to say, don't be afraid to make offers, buyers, because if you find a house that you like, just remember that there's probably 10 other people that like it as well, and they're going to be writing offers. So once we have our pre-approval in place and we're pretty sure that this is the right home for us, there's no reason not to make an offer, because our inspection period protects buyers in our contracts. So we're going to find out every nitty-gritty little detail about the house, and because we have that inspection period, we have a time frame where we can back out if we find something serious. So when the realtor is writing up the offer, there's also going to be a seller's disclosure, and that's a form that the seller fills out that shows every little thing that they've either fixed or know about the house. This is going to have information about roof, plumbing, water and sewer, and any other details. So after you've read the seller's disclosure, you're going to sign and date that, and that's going to go along with your offer to the seller. And then once the contract goes to the seller can counter back to us. They can give us a counter with price or a change in closing date or title company or any other little thing, but mainly it is price. And those counters can go back and forth. I've seen counters go back and forth about 4 or 5 times at the most. But on average, I would say countering back happens about 2 or 3 times on average. So now that the buyer and seller agree on price, then the seller is going to sign the counter, and that's going to get us under contract. So at that time period, that's when your inspection period starts and all of your other contract conditions start. So once we have a contract together, we're going to send it off to the title company with your earnest money check, and that's going to get deposited in escrow. And then that's when the title work starts, and the title company is going to do their title searches and make sure that there's not any tax liens or any unpaid HOA dues or anything like that. And at the same time that the title company is doing their work, we're going to hire an inspector, and inspections usually take about 10 days. Sometimes I give my buyers about 15 days just to give us a little more time. And we're going to do a full home inspection. We're going to do a termite inspection, and if needed, a well inspection and a septic inspection. Now, any of these inspection items, the buyer is welcome to not do these. Of course, as realtors, we always recommend that you do a full inspection. If you don't want to, you have to sign a waiver and say, no, I'm not going to do any inspections, which the buyer can certainly do that. So what if we find items on the inspection report that we just don't like? We can certainly ask the seller to fix items. We can ask for a credit back to cover the items that need to be fixed. In any case, it's just another time period to negotiate the inspection items or the price. The buyer and seller do not agree on the inspection items, it is a time where the buyer can back out and get their earnest money back. And this is done when both the buyer and seller sign a mutual release to end the contract and release the earnest money. Well, hopefully we don't have to go through all of that and we can move on and everything's fine and that inspection time period is over with. Now comes the next contingency, which would be appraisal. So in the contract, we have 20 days to get our loan commitment, which would include the appraisal. And a bank is always going to want to get an appraisal just to make sure that the value is there that they are lending on. But certainly it is another time period that is negotiable if the appraisal comes in low. So if it comes in low, that would be another opportunity to negotiate with the seller and see if they'll do a price adjustment so that we can go ahead and continue purchasing the house. So then the final phase is bank underwriting, which takes about 3 days, and then we get a clear to close where they notify the title company, and the title company has all of the numbers to make their HUD statement, which we will sign at closing. And then when the buyer and seller sign at the title company on closing day, keys are exchanged and the buyer has the house and they take possession of the house. Okay, so that's the home buying process. I hope that I explained it well. If you have any questions or comments, please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And just remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. And I will see you next time. Take care.